we are.
Thank you.
On record?
Thank you.
Could have done it from inside.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to call to order the Urban Renewal, Lincoln City Urban Renewal Agency meeting of June 25th, 2018 at 5:31. And could we have a roll call, please?
Don Williams says excused. Dick Anderson?
Yes.
Riley Hoagland?
Here.
Deanna Hinton?
Here.
Judy Casper?
Here.
And Susan Walke?
Here.
I see no citizens, so we will pass that one on. There were no minutes, so we don't have a motion for that. And presentations, we have none. And we have no public hearings or public comment because there's no public in the audience. We're going zooming right through this. And then now we have a special order of business, which is a presentation from Allison.
Good evening, Chair Hinton and agency members. So we haven't had an update on capital projects in a little while, so since we needed to do a budget transfer before the end of the fiscal year, we decided it's a good time to catch you up on how we're doing with our capital projects. So I'll go ahead and speed through these, but feel free to stop me if you have any specific questions. We kind of have a lot going on, relatively speaking, which is exciting. And we're anxious to see some of these get completed. As you know, Urban Renewal is wrapping up, and so this is the end of our capital projects, and we're moving those along as quickly as we can. The first one is Rhodes End South 50th Street Pump Station, and I've got some pictures. These are not completed pictures, but this is a before picture, and so this is a project that is basically nearing completion. We're just waiting for the contractor to finish the punch list and then do some final billing this week before the end of the year. And everything is on track to finish, and the total project costs are within budget. And this is one of those projects where Urban Renewal had paid for the project and then Public Works had done the design and the construction management. So are there any questions on this? This was basically to upgrade, install 2 new pumps and upgrade the electrical controls, replacement of the generator, and upgrade the existing pump station building to meet current pump station building code. Are there any questions on this one? Okay. The next project we want to update you on is the utility undergrounding project. I snapped this photo on the way to work today, which I thought was just epitomized everything about why we're doing this project. There's a little kite that is stuck in one of the overhead wires, and I thought, this is great. This just is why we're doing this. So again, this is to underground the overhead power and communication wires along the west and the east sides of Highway 101 in the D-Lake District, and this is from basically Northwest 2nd Drive to Southwest Ebb Avenue, which is about 1,400 linear feet along the highway, which also includes a crossing under the D River, and we're glad that we're on the other side of that. Everything went very smoothly, and this project is actually within budget. There were a couple change orders, but it is below what we originally estimated the project to be, which is always good. And let's see, this is one of those projects where Urban Renewal paid for the design, and then we were able to partner with Public Works to do the construction management, which was wonderful, and they've done a great job. And the status of where we're at is that CenturyLink and Charter were not able to complete their work before the Kite Festival, which was this past weekend. I hear it was a wonderful Kite Festival, lots of attendance. And all utilities that were doing work on the project before the weekend were able to really tighten up the construction site, make sure there weren't excessive cones and things like that. So I haven't heard any complaints yet, other than now we're back during the work week, and there are some lane closures and there's a bit of traffic. Of course, here we are in summer season. So that's kind of where we're at on that project. Are there any questions on that one?
Allison, I have one. Was there a reason that the 2 companies weren't able to meet the schedule?
I'm not
that you know of?
I'm not able to get a reason or understand why, with a 6-month project start window, basically, our contractor that put in the conduit for us started in December of last year, and I have not been able to have an answer as to why the two utilities, Charter and CenturyLink, were not able to complete within 6 months.
When they are, when they do complete the work that they still need to do, would there be any interest in maybe sending them a letter about the deadline and why it was so important to us? And
They are well aware of the deadline. We have some elected officials. State Representative Gomberg had made some phone calls to the government liaisons on each of those utilities and really tried our best to apply as much pressure as we could, given that we're a tourism-based economy, and it was vital to have this project done before the weekend. It wasn't able to get done, and I don't have all the answers. I just we all did our best to get it done on time.
sure.
But yes, you're right. I don't have an answer from the utilities on that.
You think it'll be done by the end of the week, by the end of the fiscal year?
I'm being told that it will be.
Okay.
I will let you know if I hear otherwise, but they understand that there is not any budget allocation in the next fiscal year for this project. And we had no reason to believe that it would take this long already. So that's all I know. So we're trying our best to keep our fingers crossed, and they are out there working hard. Pacific Power has been great. They even said that if the last utility on certain poles wasn't able to get the pole out, that Pacific Power would come back and take out poles for us. So we have had some wonderful response from some of our utility partners, and others have been much slower than we thought. So.
Well, when I heard traffic was backed up today, I said, well, that's a good sign. That means they're working.
That's right. And working hard.
Right.
And faster, in a safe way.
Right.
Okay. All right. Moving on to construction of the Cutler Baywalk project, which is the Schooner Point turnout on Highway 101. This is complete. So we're glad to say there's a couple more signs that need to be trimmed down and installed in the frames, but otherwise the project is done. And we are planning to work with the Chamber of Commerce to do a ribbon cutting. So we will let you know when that happens, probably be in July sometime. And let's see, the photo here is showing southbound of the project, looking towards the Bay House restaurant and the rest of the Cutler commercial corridor. And this is another photo of the kind of the center of the project. This is the project looking to the north. And this is a project kind of panoramic. It's a little bit skewed, but shows the lighting in the evening.
That looks really nice.
So we're super excited. Again, this is a project that Urban Renewal did design and engineering and permitting, and then we passed the baton to Public Works to do the construction management, which was a dream come true for me. And they were really diligent and moved it along as quickly as we could. It took a little bit longer than we thought, but it's on the ground now, and this is one of those projects that, you know, we started in 2008 when we were doing the Cutler Community Vision. So it's wonderful always to see these projects be completed.
Allison?
Yes.
I noticed there's a huge sign there, and I know it's the casino sign.
Yeah.
It's the only sign on that whole view area. Is there ever been any discussion or entered into discussion with them about relocation of that sign that might not block the view so visibly?
Yeah. So that sign is on private property. Ish. There are different surveys that show different things, but yes, there have been conversations in the past with ODOT and the property owner and with Urban Renewal in the early days of the vision about the sign, but as far as I know, there's no indication of the property owner's interest in relocating the sign.
Too bad.
Madam Chair. Looks great. Question I have is that it didn't quite show it, but there's a cement median kind of out 90 degrees from that crosswalk. That you can see it right out there.
Yes.
Is there there's a, will that be painted or any kind of indicator for those that may not know that there's a thing there late at night? Because there's no lighting on that, I believe, and there's nothing there that would differentiate. And I know other parts in town where we had those concrete things that we wanted to paint them so that people wouldn't ride up on them. Is there any plans on that?
Yeah, we hadn't planned on anything. There might be, that's a good point. There might be a reflector on the north part of it, but I can talk with Public Works about that.
Yeah, just as the safety precaution. And is the crosswalk goes to that? Is that the intention there? Is that where that?
That's actually,
Curb?
yeah, so that's actually striping for an ADA parking space, which
Okay.
is a parallel space. And there isn't any pedestrian crossing that's intended.
But it
through-
is that dip down, that ADA
Yes.
is directly across from that cement, that,
From the, what do we
little
call it?
landing strip? I
The
don't know what's
landscaped tapered island. There we go.
landscape.
Yeah, so
LTI.
there really isn't, the pedestrian direction of travel is really meant for north-south.
Right. I just,
Yeah.
and not knowing that it was for ADA,
Uh-huh.
and that is yet to be striped, or is it striped now?
It is striped. Let's see if
I didn't quite
yeah, it's kind of hard to see.
Yeah,
Oh, I see it.
You can see it in person at the ribbon cutting.
well, hey,
But yes, all the striping is done, and so there's the access aisle is between the car and the curb, and then there's a ramp that comes up to the project.
right, okay, just concerned with that landing, whatever you just said. No.
Okay, yes. I think it's all designed to
LTI.
code and the right ramp grades
The
and.
median, I was talking about the median.
The median, okay.
that-
Okay, yeah, and I think the median is really
The
to
island.
help control traffic coming in and out
Sure.
rather than
Oh.
pedestrian crossings.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I don't know where you'd cross right into the steep incline on the other side.
yeah, unless it's a tsunami, right?
Hey, gotta get up there.
Okay, good, thanks.
Thank you, Allison.
Any other questions on this one? Okay.
Oh, I
yep.
did. The beach access that people were normally parking to go down to the beach on I believe it's not on that side, but on the south side of that little,
Rocky
yeah.
outcropping,
How-
yeah.
What did we do for that? I mean, because that was a very popular place to go clamming and sand, to get sand shrimp. So
Yeah.
did we do anything to that?
We didn't. So Urban Renewal bought the property, but when we bought the property after we designed the project and budgeted for it. I think that everyone can see exactly what you described. There's just a logical and natural connection between the bay across the property. It's public property. That's wonderful that we were able to acquire that property so that we can maintain public access. There hasn't ever been talk about doing design and construction of a beach access with urban renewal money. It could be made a priority with city funds if that were of interest, but at this time I haven't heard that.
Okay. So it's, okay. In the future.
Okay, so how are we doing? Good, on time. This one is design. So we've moved from construction, now we're in design of the Cutler Southwest Jetty Realignment Project. And this project, the design is complete. We have submitted for our ODOT permit, and so we're pending ODOT permit. We also have, working at the same time as design, we're moving forward with the city-initiated vacation and dedication of right-of-way process, so you'll probably see that at the end of July come to City Council. And we're working with the property owners on the easements and stuff like that. So it'll probably be early August or so that we can bid it, and if Public Works is willing to do that process again for us where they do bidding and construction management, that would be wonderful. This project will basically, the photo that you see there where that power pole is right in the middle, the street will be basically right there. So it will create a two-way street instead of a one-way street that will be perpendicular to Highway 101, which will basically slow traffic and create sidewalks on the new street section, and then also underground the utilities just for that new street section from the highway down the street. So for the bay views, it'll be an improvement. Are there any questions on this project? Okay.
Be good.
And moving along to the Baywalk sidewalk. So remember Baywalk, we use Baywalk a lot when we're talking about these Cutler City Community Vision projects, because the Baywalk really was one walking experience to connect Southwest 51st Street in Taft all the way into the Cutler City neighborhood. So we've slowly been working on these sections. 51st Street, when we did the sidewalks there, that was really the first part of the Baywalk. So you can walk all the way along Taft and then into Cutler City. Now that the turnout is built, and this is an older photo, the turnout is just there in the far distance now that's completed, but this shows the gravel pathway that would be this final section of the Baywalk sidewalk, basically connecting our new turnout to the ODOT improved turnout, which is near the bridge. So here's a rendering of what it might look like with a railing that's kind of coastal, and it would be part of also the Head to Bay Trail, because this is the only connection, the only transportation route between Taft and Cutler City, as you know, without going far inland. So just wanted to let you know that we will be picking up the design ball on this project as soon as we get the jetty realignment project bid and ready for construction. We have had talks with ODOT about this just to make sure that before we start on design, doing more design work, we want to make sure that the sidewalk is really going to be secure in that part, just because it might need some more shoring up or stabilization along the bay side there before we make any more investments. So we're working on that one.
Madam Chair. Is it flush with the ground? Is it flush to the road? Or is it just a rendering for this purpose?
Yeah, I think for this rendering, it was intended to be pervious pavement and have it be flush, or not a full curb, but just a short lip, kind of like the Head to Bay Trail that's in the north part of town along West Devils Lake Road.
Yeah, where it's
just a little, yeah. And part of the reason is the design is really going to be driven by the requirements of ODOT and their stormwater, because we can't build a full stormwater detention and drainage, and that would be a really expensive project. So we're trying to make sure that we're being cost conscious on the project and designing so that we can make sure we're providing the pedestrian facility, but we're not getting too far into a really expensive project.
And then this would not include the bridge at
Right.
Skinner Creek, right?
Right.
So that,
And that bridge will get some improvements when
except for the cathetization.
right, that cathodic protection, which I think has some improvements to the ramps
Yeah,
and the railings.
I remember talking about, I remember that as saying, hey, what about the top side?
Yeah, right.
So I was just curious, because yes, it's great, but then when you have to ride on the highway and it's
Yes, right. It's a
pretty
challenge
sketchy right there.
to. It'd be nice if we could just build one contiguous system, right?
Yeah, but-
yeah. So this'll help, create one more gap, or remove one more gap. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Any other questions? No. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison.
Got 63rd?
Yes, thank you. 63rd. 62nd to 63rd, I didn't have a photo, so I forgot that one's on the list
No
as well. That one is an urban renewal money allocation that's gone to Public Works, where they have been doing the design and engineering and bidding and construction. So we're really just writing the check as opposed to doing the design and then handing it over. So, and that one I think is back on track. We had some great discussions with ODOT staff about why permitting is taking a little longer than what we need to, and different design standards, what is really desired by ODOT, but what is really required by ODOT. And I think that we finally saw eye to eye on that, and I think that project will be getting done this year.
Any
Lala can
other
correct me if I'm wrong.
questions?
Okay, all right, good. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. Okay, our next agenda item is Resolution UR 2018-03, a resolution authorizing and directing budget transfers for the Urban Renewal Agency of the City of Lincoln City, Oregon, in the 2017-18 fiscal year budget. Debbie Bridges to help us with this. Thank you.
Good evening. Typically, the last council meeting of the fiscal year, we look at where we are budget to actual, and if we have any adjustments that we need to do, we put a resolution on. And Urban Renewal has one adjustment we'd like to request, and that is to move $25,000 from capital to materials and services in the general fund for Urban Renewal. It does not change the total budget. It's just moving money from one category to another. And the reason for this is there's been more activity in consulting with property development than was anticipated when the budget was set a year ago. Are there any questions on that?
How about a motion? Is there a motion to?
I move to approve Resolution UR 2018-03, a resolution authorizing and directing budget transfers for the Urban Renewal Agency of the City of Lincoln City, Oregon, in the 2017-18 fiscal year budget.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Hoagland,
Yes.
Hinton,
Yes.
Casper,
Yes.
Walke,
Yes.
and Anderson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, actions, if any, based on executive session or work session. We have had neither of those, so there is none. Any member have any comments? Well, then we are adjourned.